Hi, welcome to the Deliberate Life Show, the podcast to help you put yourself in the driver's seat. I'm Sally Edwards, and this is my big sister, Dana Middleton. And in today's show, we are talking about how to create a luckier mindset, which leads to making more luck. Hi, Dana.
Hi, Sally. How are
How's it
you?
going?
It's our second podcast. How you feeling?
Feels great. And you know what? You're going to hate it because, not hate it, hate this, that it's raining in Georgia. I
Oh my
mean,
gosh,
like
I can't stand it.
downpours
I know.
and like flooding almost, but that kind of rain. And,
That's my living in Southern California. That is the sad, tragic part of my life that we don't get much rain.
I know.
So
So I know you
I
would what so I said you were gonna
I
hate it
wish
because you wish you were here. So
I
anyway,
wish I were
but
there.
I'm really excited about today's topic, and you kinda threw me a curveball when you said that this is what you wanted to talk about today. So
I know.
jump in the
I made an older
yeah,
sister executive decision. Well, let me
yeah,
tell
there
you
you
why I
go.
did this. Because I was talking with a group of actors last week about adding more luck to their toolbox, of acting because, a lot of actors, especially if you're been doing it professionally, you're talented, you work hard, but things might not be going exactly in the direction that you want. And so I just say to everybody, I've been saying this to creative people for a long time, let's be luckier. Let's be luckier. But now that we're doing this to creative people and more, I want to say to
Yeah.
everybody, this idea of luck is really undervalued.
Well, and I think that this time of year, we're starting a new year, that luck kind of comes into play. We were talking about traditions around luck, but I think it's a tricky topic because I think there's so many different ways that we can look at luck. Like, are you born lucky? Do you make your own luck? Are some people luckier than other people? Like, there's all this stuff. So when you told me, like, let's talk about luck, I thought, okay, I got to wrap my mind around all the things that we can encompass into this topic because it's a big one.
Well, but what's interesting to me is
Yeah.
that I think luck is is a great topic to illuminate where you might
Yeah.
have some blocks.
Yeah.
Because we all have some kind of judgment or
Mm,
concept or belief around being lucky. So I thought bringing
mhm.
it up would be a wonderful way to kind of get us rolling because
Yeah.
this podcast, and we've talked about it with ourselves so many times, but
Mhm.
if you're listening, this podcast really is about creating space to think about things differently, maybe to
Mhm.
reframe things that you might, sometimes we have a story like this is the way it's got to be, but that story might not be serving you. So we just want to be the people to help suggest alternate ways of thinking about things.
Mhm.
And when it comes down to something like luck, you're going to identify really quickly, and we're going to give you some great takeaways today, where you land on the lucky scale. And is that okay? Or would you actually like to be luckier?
Okay, to start us off, then, let me ask you, do you think you're lucky?
Ask me. I think you're luckier than me.
Oh, well, why would you say that?
Well, because 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 I'm working
Yay
on it.
me.
Yeah, yeah, you. Well, because I think I was the oldest and I grew up very much like listening and kind of putting our father on a pedestal. And he didn't come from a lucky experience growing up. And it
Mhm.
was a lot of language about like, like coming from nothing and all that kind of stuff. And you
Yeah.
need to work
Like,
hard
pull
and do it
yourself
yourself.
up from your bootstraps. Yeah,
Bootstraps.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
really thought that's what I needed to do to
yeah.
be worthy, to be that lucky wasn't a part of it. It was hard work. It
Mhm,
was, nose to the grindstone, all that stuff. And because that's how you were supposed to do it. And I think as you were
mhm,
younger, you didn't quite get that as much as I did.
mhm,
So I think there was a part of me at some point that just said, nope, can't be lucky. I just have to do this all myself and be sure and that was just ridiculous because of our parents, we didn't come from nothing. You know,
yeah.
we had certain, I mean, we were taken care of. We
Well,
had nice places to live.
I'm gonna
We had a
say
certain
this
amount of
also.
privilege.
By the time I came along, that they were in a better situation than when you were little. Like, the difference in our age even made for when I was born, they were already in a better financial situation than when you
Yeah.
were born.
Yeah, you're acting
So
like you're
maybe
like
even
20 years younger than me. You're not, but
yeah.
okay, fine. Anyway, but yeah,
So
but
much
whatever.
younger.
But that's what we'll be talking as sisters. If you're
Yeah.
just tuning in, we're sisters, and you know being sisters or siblings, you can grow up in the same house and have such different experiences, right?
Uh-huh.
So for me, I've had to really learn to be lucky and learn
Mhm.
to I mean, one of my affirmations is it's safe and good and I'm innocent when I have good fortune. You know, that when I first started doing that really tweaked me because I'm like, wait, how can I have good fortune? Because the world's not fair. And is it okay for me to have more? And all that
Yeah.
noise in your head.
And how do you reconcile the thought of being lucky when you feel like so many people are not lucky? And that can really mess
Absolutely.
with your whole mindset.
Right, and
So, these are the
we are
realities.
going yeah, and we're going to be talking about that, and if you feel that way
Yeah,
too, hang with us
yeah,
because we have some
yeah,
solves for that.
yeah, exactly. And because I think basically what we are getting to, and what the takeaways are gonna be is that luck is so much like you were saying earlier, we're all about mindset, and that it's not whether you're born lucky or you're not, or that, you make your own luck or not. All of that is part of the equation, but that our mind, what we believe is what's true for us. If we start believing that, we can be lucky and it can be good for everyone. If the was what we're telling ourselves in our heads that then can become the reality and allow us to open up to more fortune, more luck, more blessings, whatever however it looks for you.
And one of our core beliefs on this podcast,
Mhm.
just so you know,
Yeah.
is that everything's a belief.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think I'd have
life
said that.
and yeah, and li did you well, that life is based on our beliefs, and your
Yeah.
beliefs show up in your lives. So
Yeah.
when we're talking about luck, how you feel about luck really gets mirrored back to you.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people go, "Well, if I win the lottery, then I'll be
Mhm.
lucky."
Yeah.
And that assumes that luck is an outside job, like luck happens to us
Right.
instead of, "Oh, I have this lucky mindset where I expect good things to happen and I expect
Yeah.
good fortune and I'm excited about what's coming."
And
And
and we don't wait for the outcome to say you're lucky. So you're
yes,
not saying, okay, when like you said, we're not saying if this happens and I'm lucky. You're going into your life every day with the attitude that I am lucky and I'm looking for it and I'm prepared for it. And that kind of attitude then helps us find it.
absolutely. And when we
Yeah.
get there, I
Yeah.
just think it's a wonderful tool to have. And especially working with artists, I know when my first book got published,
Hmm.
um, I know for a fact that I was lucky, that was a lucky thing. It is. And people say, "Oh,
Well,
but you worked
listen.
so hard, you deserved it." I've heard that. "You worked so hard, you deserved it." Yes, I did work so hard. Yes, I did take certain risks and gambles, and I went down roads that were terrifying to me.
Hmm.
But I was also lucky, right? And I
Yeah.
won't ever say I wasn't because it's just it's because it's just true. There's so many people who are as talented or more talented than I am, who work hard or harder than
Mm.
I do,
Yeah.
who haven't had that lucky break. So
Yeah.
ask yourselves if you're one of those
And
people who's doing that, who's doing all the right things, but it's just not quite catching fire, maybe consider a little luck.
Well, and don't you think that is the secret formula? It's like you can't not do the work. And I mean, you had to spend the time and the energy and the focus and give the book all that you had. You can't just sit back and go, well, maybe luckily a book will just appear and be published. But it's
Right.
that combination of all of it. And then reconciling that it's okay, like you said, let's jump into the idea of the blocks and the ideas about why we don't think it's okay sometimes to be lucky. And and maybe like look at where we are on the luckiness scale, like where we think it's okay. Are we, a 1 or a 10
Yeah,
and how that
absolutely.
works? Yeah.
Well, okay, you asked me earlier, do I
Yeah.
feel lucky? And I think
Yeah.
that I am a work in progress. So
Yeah.
do you feel lucky?
I think I feel pretty lucky. I think um that I didn't want to admit that I have that block to, ooh, if I'm lucky, that something's like there is something like socially unacceptable, I feel like, about saying I feel lucky. Like,
Yeah.
ooh, that makes me sound like I've got something that other people don't have.
You just said
So
it to the whole
I
internet.
I know but I do think that there's something to that. Like, I do feel lucky, but I do think that maybe the idea that I'm not supposed to keeps me from being as lucky as I could be.
Right, like
Be
hiding your
be
luck.
yeah, like there's a little hang up about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we can start small with this, by the way,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
if you're not my sister and have just gobs of lucky life, which uh, I know, right? Oh my gosh, you're tweaked. I love it. No, I'm
I
kidding. But
am, you're
we want
tweaking
to,
me.
and I'm aspiring. I'm aspiring to you.
Yeah.
But to do things like I have a friend of mine who she is a lucky Parker, and whenever we're driving together, she's like, "Oh, we get a space. I'm a lucky Parker." And gosh, do we ever?
Oh,
Do
what a
we
great
ever?
belief. What a
It's a
great belief
belief.
if she says, "I'm a lucky Parker," and then she finds it, and then she just reinforces it, right? Over
Reinforces
and
it,
over
and
again.
it always happens.
Are you a lucky
Always
Parker?
happens. Yeah, sometimes. I'm not
Yeah.
I haven't really worked on that as much, and I think
Yeah.
I should, especially I live in a city, sometimes parking is a problem. So,
Yeah.
sometimes I'm a lucky parker.
Yeah.
Are
It's
you?
interesting because maybe they're even am I?
I'm thinking about where you live. I don't think
Oh,
you really
yeah.
have to
Where
be a lucky parker.
I don't have to be a lucky Parker. Not really. But I think it'd be really interesting to us to kind of look at the categories in our life, which you and I haven't even talked about this, and see like where we are, where we feel luckier, like, oh, this area, oh yeah, like no brainer. And then another area like, oh my gosh, that is a challenge or a struggle. And really kind of make like it'd be really cool to make like a checklist or a or something
Oh.
like a scale of where we feel lucky and where we don't.
Well, what
Yeah.
are a few places where you feel lucky?
Where I feel lucky?
Yeah.
I think the first thing that just popped in my mind is just with my boys, with
I'm about to
parenting.
say, well,
My little babies, my babies that are almost 22 and 19. But you know what, 2025, and as a parent, like your kids are just no matter how they old, they're like how old they are, they're extensions of you. 2025 was, oh, am I not supposed to mention what year we're in?
we're 2026 now, so it's
Oh, that's
okay.
right. Okay. So we're in 2026, but yeah, 2025 was an incredibly like lucky year for my family, for my
Yeah.
boys. Like they had a lot of incredible things happen. Like, like Sam got at the University of Georgia. Will had a lot of things that he wanted to happen and going toward his career that like fell into place. I felt like with them and in parenting, I feel like I'm pretty lucky. Like that's been really a great it's a great area. Now, but look, I worked hard as being a parent.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so, it's like I gotta justify it though, right? So
I
I've put in
That's a
my
big thing.
my part. Yeah.
That we have to justify. Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like I'm really lucky in relationships.
Yeah.
I'm really lucky that I have a passion that I well, this is one of them, doing this with you,
Yeah.
but also my
Yeah.
writing, that feels really lucky. I'm lucky, I think we
Yeah.
both have lovely partners.
Yeah.
They're sometimes pain in the asses, but we feel pretty lucky in that category.
We do, but most days.
Most days. So ask yourself, I'll say to people listening or watching,
Okay.
where do you already feel lucky? Because it's important to notice that. Oh gosh, there was this woman I met years ago who was an actress, like had been in
Mhm.
movies and stuff, and she was beautiful and lovely. And she came to a play that I was in because I did plays way back when. And we had
I remember coming to some of them. She was
yes, you
great.
came. And this
Yeah.
woman, we were talking, and she lived in this beautiful home in Brentwood and all this stuff, and we've been there. It was like insane. And she said to me one time, "Money's always been easy for me. I've always been lucky with money." And I'm thinking, and
Yeah.
this woman was probably
What?
40 at the time. And
Yeah.
I'm like, "What? What? Where did that come?" Because it was
Yeah.
certainly not easy for me at that
Yeah.
time. And I was just like, you just said that to me. And I hadn't
Yeah.
heard somebody say that to me before, really. And it
Yeah.
did. It was that I love that she said it because it opened my mind. And that's kind of what we're here to do too, that
Yeah.
open the mind to, wait, is that even possible?
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine even someone saying that out loud?
I
I mean,
know.
I would be like freaked out to say, "Oh, I'm lucky at money." But you
I
know
want
who
us
else is
to
lucky at
do
money?
that. Our
You
mother.
know, mother. I was about to say that she's secret about it, you
She's
know,
she
but
is.
she is.
She's an
She's lucky.
investor and she does things and
It,
she's
it,
lucky and she's really smart and she works hard, but
yeah,
she's
yeah,
also lucky. And
yeah.
it's
But she
very
won't. She like
interesting.
hides it.
She totally hides it, but she just makes good decisions. She just
She
makes good
does.
decisions,
Yeah, but
and,
she trusts herself,
she
and she
tr
trusts.
Do you
Yeah,
think that's part of being lucky is really trusting yourself? Because
I
she
think it
does.
is. She
She
does,
really
like,
does.
she just jumps in and, like, she makes decisions and she just keeps moving forward. You know, she told me something one time that if she does make a mistake, like she buys a piece of furniture or a rug or a lamp, I don't know, or something for her house that she hates, she just acts like she's happy with it.
That
Like,
sounds just like our mother.
but I mean, she, like, even convinces herself that to trust herself. I think that that is
Well,
something that
you know,
that is a really
to
good quality.
to get on board with who we are,
Yeah,
where we are,
and
that is
and what
actually a
you're
thing
doing.
that what you're doing, who we what we look everything,
Yeah,
makes us actually luckier
yeah,
because we're not resisting
yeah,
life.
mhm. And what if we shift our mindset to believing that when I have mine and everybody else on the entire planet can have all theirs too. Like there's not a limited supply.
Yeah.
And maybe even take it a step further to say when I live my biggest, brightest, fullest, luckiest life, it actually can inspire other people. It can teach other people. It can help other people. We're just not taught to believe that.
We are not.
You know,
We are taught to believe in the scarcity pie. There's
yeah,
only so much. And if you are
yeah.
lucky enough to be born someplace where things are easier than other places,
Mm.
well, you got a bigger pie already, and that's not fair. And
Yeah,
there's some, I mean, we look around, there's some real truth. I mean, seemingly real truth to that. You know,
yeah,
and whew, so how do we go be kind of brave enough because it also feels selfish to say, "Well, I can just have more." I
yeah.
mean, there are so many think about it, what you this is I'm sure if you're listening to this or watching this, different ideas or beliefs are coming up like, "Well, that sounds great, but," and it's
Well, that's
really
why
good to know this, what your "but" is.
yeah, because I said that's why I said it's such a tricky topic because luck is it is just it tweaks us.
I know
It
when
because we really do have ideas that we wanna be lucky, but how is it fair to
right.
want more in our life when other people don't have it? So I think this is just such I mean, we are wrestling with it, and yet we know how important it is that we each live, our fullest life, that we I really think that we're born into this world to give the gifts we have to give, and that us denying it to ourselves actually denies other people.
Yeah.
Like, that we are our best when we can be fully who we are and then give that into the world.
Yeah,
But it's a
absolutely.
tricky one,
It's a
but it's
tricky one.
tricky.
So just to
Yeah,
be aware, because we're gonna come, we've got
yeah.
some solves coming. Do not be despaired.
Do not
Do
despair.
not despair.
Yeah.
Um,
But it's a topic to wrestle
and
with,
remember
for
when I
sure, and
brought
we
it
wanna
up,
acknowledge that.
when I brought it up, you said, "Oh wow, we're going into the deep end."
I did, I was like, "We're going right in.
Like,
Boom, 2nd episode,
what
let's
are you
go."
doing?
I'm like,
Uh,
"What are you doing?" But okay. Like, good. She's the big sister, she bosses me
no,
around, I just
no,
go, "Okay,
you
whatever."
can choose the next one, okay? But I just
I
felt
know,
so inspired by this topic because,
I know.
especially because we had our black eyed peas, we did all that stuff, the things we do in
Yeah.
the South for luck. But these are things that
Mhm,
are kind of outside of us, and they're kind of
mhm.
superstitious. We're talking about building a real sense of, yeah, it's okay, it's good. I'm innocent when I allow good fortune. And
Yeah.
another thing that you can ask, you say, do you find pride or worth doing it the hard way?
Mm.
Right? That's
Yeah.
that bootstraps
Oh, I
thing.
think yeah, I think there are times absolutely that, like, well, I did it myself, whereas they, like you said, they had a trust fund or whatever. So somehow you're saying that I'm better because I did it the hard way.
If you are unsure about where you
Yeah,
feel about luck, if you're still like, nah, I don't know, y'all, Dana, Sally, whatever.
yeah,
Here's the big one to ask yourself.
yeah.
Who do you think might feel uncomfortable with your lucky success or with a lucky break?
Who comes to mind right away?
You already know them.
And that
They came to mind. It's already
you know
done.
who it is.
You know what you just
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
That's your way in. Because
That
that's
that
the
can tell
person,
you.
right? Because that's the
Mhm.
person that you feel you might lose love from, you might get kicked out of a tribe, you might be shamed, you might be, add to the
Yeah,
list. But that if you know the answer to that question, and I guarantee you do, that's where you really get to start investigating.
yeah. And it may be more than one person, but
Yeah,
at least one person came up when you said that, when you asked that.
for sure.
So I think that that's really important to know, because that is a block that's holding you back from luck, whether you're really consciously aware of it or not.
Yeah, and your life is breadcrumbs. right?
Yeah.
Just like follow the breadcrumbs to, and it will tell you like where this started. And once you find
Yeah.
out where this belief started, you have more power to start to question and unravel it.
It's like anything. It's this consciousness thing. I mean, it's being aware. And
Yeah.
until we're aware, we're just, our podcast name, The Deliberate Life. Unless you're aware, you're just kind of you're running on programs. And once you're aware, it's like, oh, I mean, now I get a choice of what I want to do with this. So
Okay.
that's what we're so passionate about. That's why we're doing this.
Okay. Science
Yeah.
Sally,
Oh. Oh.
explain to us how we can start turning this around.
Oh, I love it when you call me Science Sally.
Science Sally. I am so not Science
Okay,
Dana.
so I am going to jump right into to this idea that I am so passionate about, and you'll hear a lot of fun research from me because I'm a nerd that way. But we have something in our brains called the reticular activating system,
Wait. Say it
and
again. Say it slowly.
reticular activating system,
Okay.
and it's a part of our brain that tags what's important. And how does it know what's important? What you pay attention to, what you tell it's important. So if you're constantly worrying about something, your RAS for short, reticular activating system, will continue to find the same thing that you're worried about. So it is really good in one way because if we know something's important, digress. It all started as a survival mechanism so that we would pay attention to the things that might eat us. So, but we can use it to our favor by plugging in by tagging this is important, pay attention to it. And Dana, how have you used that with cars?
Okay. Yeah. Well, this is one of those things
Yeah,
I think Pam Grout
yeah,
from, was it, I forgot the name of the book. Anyway, talks about is that this exact thing about focusing. What when you're looking
yeah,
for something, you see it.
yeah,
So it's the same thing with luck or anything else, but cars are an easy one. So you could
yeah,
say, okay, today when you're on the way to work or out, whatever you're doing, is look for orange cars. Now,
yeah.
I can't remember seeing an orange car in quite a while, but I know that if I go out today and take a walk, take a drive, I will because I've decided to look for them, I will probably see 5 to 10.
Yeah. And don't you know that when you start looking for a particular kind of car to buy, then you start seeing them everywhere.
Yeah.
It's that same idea because now you've told your brain that that's something to look for.
Is
So
that using your reticular, say it again?
it is because what you're doing, and that you're not really doing it as deliberately, but you can use it to be very deliberate about what you want to see. So how do you use that for luck? So what you want to do is you want to actively tell your mind it's important to see lucky things. And the way you do that is you intentionally, like in the morning when you wake up, you can say, where could I have more support or ease or opportunity or luck? Like in the morning, place that question. How might I be lucky today?
Yeah.
Your brain's going to be like, oh, we're supposed to be looking for luck.
Yeah.
And it may just be that somebody opens the door for you or you overhear a conversation that it has some information that's important to you.
Or you
But
Kojak.
okay, Dana, what's Kojaking? Because we're like the only people our husbands and the two of us are the only people in this world that know what Kojaking is.
Well,
So
Kojaking is okay because in the 70s there was this show called Kojak, and my husband,
yeah,
who's English, would watch Kojak in Liverpool, and he would always laugh because Kojak would be like a detective, and he'd be driving up to the crime the building or whatever, and there'd always be a
the
spot.
police department.
No, yes, but
Yeah,
any
whatever.
place in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
He,
What was he in Los Angeles? Okay,
yes,
yeah.
they all were in Los
Okay.
Angeles in the 70s.
Okay.
Everything
Okay.
you look now is like, oh, I know that place.
Yeah.
Anyway, and there would always be a spot right in front of where he was going. Always, always, always. So he was a lucky parker. But so Pete, my husband, would started calling that Kojaking. And so now we call it Kojaking. And it is part of my mission in the world to make that an actual term, kojacking,
Make it a verb.
a verb.
Well, you know what? It's funny because Graham and I use that now all the time too. Like we get a a front parking place. We're like, oh, we Kojacked.
We
But I think
kojak.
we honestly may be the only four people in the world that, except for all of you now.
Yes, now you can
Now
all
you know what
kojak.
Kojakking is.
But
Yeah.
that's it. But that's a
So
thing to recognize, right? That's a moment
yes,
when you kojak. It's
yeah,
like, oh, that was
I
lucky.
was lucky. Yeah,
Yes, right.
yeah. And so and then also by saying like today I'm looking for blank, whatever it may be that you're kind of looking for. Set that intention and then your brain will you're basically telling your brain what to look for because the reality is I don't have I should, as much as I like all the research numbers, but there's so many million bits of information that are coming in every day that most of the time you're just deflecting it.
Yeah,
Like, too much, and you're only focusing on a few things. So what you're doing here is you're telling your brain to focus on luck.
yeah.
You're telling it what to notice, what to look for. And then at the end of the day, you actually review it and you say, "Where was I lucky today? What good thing happened to me today?" And by doing those steps every day, which, could just take a few minutes here and there, you are retraining your brain, your mindset to look for how you're fortunate. And the more you do it, the more evidence you'll find, and then it becomes that cycle of you start to feel lucky. You start to have a mindset that's looking for luck,
You
and you
start to
find evidence of it.
expect
Yeah,
luck. So what you're
yeah,
saying, let me get this right,
yeah,
is that
yeah,
you don't get lucky. You don't just like, oh, I was lucky. You start with the
yeah,
intention of I'm
yeah.
choosing to allow lucky circumstances. I'm choosing to feel lucky today and to allow
Mhm.
whatever that brings in.
Yeah.
And then when you do Kojak or when something else lucky or when you get a call out of the blue and that's like for an opportunity, you notice and you recognize you're like, "Oh, wow."
Yeah.
You say yes. You identify, you actually uh say, "Hey, this was a lucky thing that just happened."
And that what you just said is so important. By taking the moment to recognize it, it's like you embed it.
That's the word I
It
wanted.
you don't just
Recognize.
you d yeah, you don't but you don't let it just bounce off,
Yes.
and you say, "Okay, oh, oh, look at me, I was lucky," and you let it sink in. And
Yes.
that doesn't mean that things aren't gonna also not go your way that day, but you to those you go, "Well, okay." You don't we tend to wanna hold on to the negatives, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we just do. What we're doing is trying to retrain our mind to make what's positive m more important because we
Yes.
naturally will naturally think about it. We'll naturally do that with the negative. So we wanna train our mind to hold on to the positive,
Yeah, it's
which is
so
not natural.
easy to slip
Yeah,
into what didn't work and instead to go,
right.
"Oh, well, okay, whatever," and to
Yeah,
give the focus to
yeah,
what is working, review it at the end of the night. I love that
yeah,
because
yeah.
we're programmable beings.
We are. And as we I won't get off this will be a whole nother episode, but we'll talk about neuroplasticity and the fact that our brains change based on what we do, what we tell it, what
Yeah.
we focus on. And so it's to me that's so exciting that we literally can change the way that we interact with the world and the way our mind works by what we focus on and what we give that moment to, and instead of only focusing on wah wah wah,
Yeah, but the
um
thing is, you win
yeah.
let's say you win the lottery later today. Fabulous,
All
and
right, let's do.
let's do.
Yeah,
But, a lot of people I think would think, "Well, you won the lottery, so you're lucky."
yeah.
Instead of, "No, I've been cultivating this belief system of luck."
Mhm.
And so I allowed something in that looks really lucky. But when we look at it from the inside out, then it's a muscle you're building. It's not just this thing that is out of your control and it's just like, oh, well, wow, how did that happen? Um,
Well, and I love what you're saying because if it's out of our control, then why even talk about it?
yeah,
What can we do about it? What our whole intent here is to say it is in our control to to create a luckier mindset,
right.
to look for the things that are working in our lives
And
instead
whatever
of just yeah,
comes from that is going to feel pretty good.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and believing that this whole, everybody has their own pie idea that, instead of feeling guilty, is just saying, okay, I had a really lucky day. I sure, and I want to bless everybody else in this world to have a lucky day as well.
And that
So we don't
goes
feel guilty.
that goes to
Yeah.
our the big reframe. This is the big
Yeah.
reframe for me, and this is the whole reason
Yeah.
you've been listening for the past half hour, is because get to drum roll, please.
Boop. Drum roll, drum roll.
The big
Yeah.
reframe, the way that for me, that I can really go, oh yeah, it's good for me to be lucky, is that
Hmm.
you ask yourself this question: how could being lucky be a win-win for me and for those around you?
Hmm.
When you do that, it shakes things up a bit, because instead of being somebody who's waiting for everybody else to be lucky and following, be like, okay, I can be
Hmm.
lucky now because they got a little luckier and whatever, and I'll keep myself
Yeah.
in check, and it's all a big, game of a chess game, right? Um,
Yeah. Like we like leveling. Where's everybody's luck level?
right,
Yeah. Yeah.
right, because we're staying
Yeah.
on the same level. Instead,
Yeah.
what about being brave and bold enough to be the leader in luck? When you're deciding to be the leader in luck, meaning you're going to be lucky and you're going to even maybe talk about it, and you're going to, not engage in the negative talk or the commiserating, and you're going to instead focus on and speak about things that are working, right? You become that leader in luck, which, by the way, is uncomfortable at first because people
Yeah.
won't quite get it, but they will. And that's what's exciting, is that we really can build win-win situations around good fortune and luck. It doesn't mean that we have to separate ourselves or feel like we're selfish or wrong. We also can be good people. You can be really lucky people and be really good people. So
Yeah.
who do you want to be as you expand? This is all about luck is about expansion.
And it made me think that maybe if you could at least have one person in your life to be like, let's decide that we're going to share with each other our lucky stuff,
Let's do it together.
so
You want to
that
do it together?
well, let's do it together. I think that's a great idea, because that way at least you have one person who you don't feel like you have to kind of put a lid on it or hide it. That you can be like, let's just decide that we're gonna. A lot of times you feel like you're bragging if you tell somebody the good things, but let's do that for each other. Let's be the people that we can just say, let's share our luck with each other so that we can grow it in our own lives, and that we can then help grow it in more people's lives, and we can expand it.
Right, because it's just
Because
something we aren't taught, it's not
yeah,
encouraged, but so I love that, Sam, I love that idea so much.
uh,
Like, listen, everybody choose a lucky buddy. So, you go through, and every day we're gonna talk about how lucky we are and how lucky we are willing to
yeah,
be. Oh, I
yeah,
love a lucky buddy.
yeah.
Please, in the
A lucky
comments,
buddy.
if you
Yeah,
wanna have a lucky buddy or have a lucky buddy, we wanna hear all
yeah.
about it. That is the best.
I think that that's a great idea. We're gonna start doing that. This has been so much fun. I'm inspired to, because I realized just talking about it that I do have some hangups about luck.
Yeah, me
More
too.
than I mean, just going through it, and so it's really inspired me that I to really know that I can be lucky and be like, and it can really help other people too, because that's our hang up,
Yeah,
right?
and that we can be loved and accepted if we look like
Yeah,
we're the luckiest girl in town.
yeah,
That
yeah,
it's okay, that we're not doing anything wrong, that
yeah,
we're living who we're
yeah,
supposed to be living.
yeah. So this is about expanding. Every episode is about expanding and how we can grow our mindset,
That's
and
exactly
and we're
it.
right there with you.
That's why we're
Yeah.
here. So
Okay. So what are our key takeaways for today?
okay, so we're gonna get clear about your beliefs about luck. Just you can
Hmm.
journal, as my sister would say. For me, I would
Yeah.
just say, think about it. Um, ask if those beliefs are making your life better or worse. Meaning, if
And
you think
then,
you've got to do it all by yourself, is that actually making your life better?
yeah.
What are you getting out of that?
Exactly. And then work on your lucky mindset. Use that reticular activating system. You don't have to remember that
Ding.
words. Um, by looking for luck, by setting the intention and then reviewing. And so you're training your mind to look for luck, and then look for the win-win. Look for how you're being lucky is actually good for other people as well, how it inspires other people.
You know,
And
I
those things matter. It works if you do this.
Do you remember
Yeah.
when this is no digressing, and you like for me to wrap things up, and I have a long goodbye
Uh,
issue, as
oh
my
my
sister
gosh, Dana
tells
is
me.
the longest
I am the longest
goodbyer
goodbyer, but here's the
ever.
deal. So sad, so bad. Here's the deal. Do you remember there was a time when I think we were in like not maybe high school even, and we would
Yeah.
go to Granny's house for Christmas, right? And
Mhm.
everybody say hi. Nobody hugged. This is my mom's way. Nobody hugged. And finally one day I said, "We're hugging," and
Oh, Dana's a hugger.
I'm a hugger. And so I started hugging everybody, but guess what? We all hug now. We all
Yep.
hug now because I chose to be a little uncomfortable and say, "We're hugging now." And that's what it is with
Even
anything.
even Aunt Elaine.
She's a big
She's a
hugger now.
hugger.
She's a big hugger now.
So,
It's
but
awesome.
you're right. One person,
One
Dana,
person.
you were that person. One person changes, and it can change everyone for the better.
Yeah.
And that is what's
And
exciting.
it
And
brought
that's why
everybody
we're doing
closer.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, subscribe. I still don't know why. I know I'm supposed to. Your son said,
I know.
"You
I
sound
do
so
know why. I know
unprofessional."
why.
I
So,
don't care. I'm gonna say,
yeah,
"I don't know why I don't care." Please subscribe though.
I do.
And good.
I
She
do.
knows I don't. And we're on
And we
you.
really would appreciate it.
Really would for some reason. The
And I'll
deliberate
teach Dana. I'll let her know why.
Okay, good. The Deliberate Life Show is on YouTube, is on Spotify, and is on Amazon. We're in social places as well. Go to the website, thedeliberatelife.us. That's thedeliberatelife.us. You can join our
Yeah.
mailing list and all that good stuff. Be lucky with
All
us.
right.
All right,
All
and we'll
right.
be
And we'll
back
see you
next
here
Tuesday.
next Tuesday. Go be lucky.
Go be lucky. Thanks, guys.
Bye. Take care.